Okay.
First of all, congratulations, Dhruba, for joining us all the way from US. And once again, it's a big congratulations. You are the real rock star of at this moment tech world. I think OpenAI first acquisition and some very huge amount. Anyway, that doesn't leaving aside all those things. What as a layman like me, I'm not from the tech world, so I don't understand all these things. But what I understand from the news is that your company has been acquired by OpenAI for X sum, and you will be giving them, you joining them, and then you will be giving real-time data processing or data analytics, all of this. Just explain to me what is that all about.
Sure, yeah, absolutely. So, yeah, I'm Dhruba. I was the founder, co-founder at a company called Rockset. We started this company almost 7 years ago. It was about real-time data processing. So, the world is kind of drowning with data, right? Everybody is collecting data from machines, sensors, whatever it is. And the focus for Rockset, which is the company I started, is how to process this data in real time so that you can search for a lot of data and give you answers to questions. Lately in the news, you have heard about our company getting acquired by OpenAI. So I'm really excited to see how our technology can get used inside of the OpenAI ecosystem. Some of you might be using ChatGPT. It's a product that OpenAI makes, and it's very popular now. It lets you answer questions to a lot of the world's data. For Rockset itself, we are very focused on using the Rockset tech to see how we can make data processing inside of OpenAI better and faster and more efficient. So this is what is exciting to me. It's at a different scale and a lot of new problems to solve.
Again, a layman's question. I use ChatGPT, definitely a free version or the paid version, but there is a limitation of not getting the recent data. That means Rockset, are you bringing in that technology so that they can get as fast as the data they considered, and not only latest data will be there in the search engine?
Yeah, I think some of the future roadmap I can't tell you right away, right? What we are going to do, but what I can definitely tell you is that ChatGPT is actually two products. One is for the layman, for the consumer, and one is for enterprise. Let's say you are
Layman.
whatever. I'm talking about like an enterprise. Let's say you are Air India, right? It's the flight company, like manages all your flights, like planes, right? So you have a lot of enterprise data. So how can you use ChatGPT for? How can that enterprise use ChatGPT to make questions and queries for their data set, which is not in the open world? You know what I'm saying? It's not in the internet. Nobody can know it. But let's say Air India customer service, you call up Air India and you ask, hey, why is my flight delayed? That person can typically maybe ask ChatGPT and use his own data set to answer your questions. So this is what I mean by the two different products actually. One is ChatGPT for the consumer, like you and me, who are like end consumers, but then there's another product called ChatGPT Enterprise, which is mostly about enterprises, how they're going to use ChatGPT, and that's kind of some of the areas where the Rockset technology could definitely help in the future.
So now coming also out of technology, let's come to the more about home part. Your journey from Assam to
Sure.
US now, and right now up to the OpenAI. So tell me the whole background from where you have come. What is the background? I don't have much knowledge about it.
Sure, yeah, no, absolutely. So let me give you a short introduction about myself, like my connections to Assam and everything. So I grew up in Guwahati. I did my schooling in the Guwahati University area because my father, Dr. Dhruba Barthakur, he was a professor of statistics in Guwahati University. And then my mom was a school teacher. She used to teach in a school in Maligaon. So I grew up in that area, in the Jaludbari area. I did my high school from Don Bosco, Guwahati. And then I did my +2 from Cornell College, Guwahati. And then I went to study engineering, computer science in BITS Pilani. At that time, there were very few people from Assam in BITS Pilani. Somehow I came to know, this was before the internet, right? So it's very difficult to find information. But one of my neighbors, he was at BITS Pilani like 3 years ago. So I knew about this school. So I said, okay, let me go and apply. I also got into the IT, but I didn't join because I didn't get computer science. I got something else, aeronautics, and I wasn't interested in doing aeronautics at IIT Kharagpur. So I went to Pilani, I did computer science, and then I came to the US to do my master's in computer science at the University of Wisconsin, Madison. So I did 2 years there, and then I started to work in different places. Most of the places that I worked are startups, like small companies. My first job was a company called Transtar Corporation. It was a small startup. I started in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, by a professor from CMU. CMU is Carnegie Mellon University. And that company later was much bigger, became part of IBM, and so I stayed in IBM for a while. And then I joined on the company called Veritas Software. It was doing storage and systems, and then that company also became very big. So then I joined Yahoo. Yahoo, many of you might be knowing, it's a little bit old age company now, but I'm talking about 20 years back. It was a high-profile company, so I joined that. I built something called Hadoop file system. Hadoop is like a big data processing system. So I was probably the second engineer. It was not really known at the time, but that software became very famous and widely used. It was an open source software. And then I joined Facebook. Facebook working. I joined when the company was very small. It was probably like 300 people or so. And I built a lot of databases, like how Facebook, most people in India are familiar with Facebook because it's very popular, right? So how Facebook stores data, how they process data, when you post a comment to your friends, when you like, all these things to be stored in the database that I built. I and some of my team members built. It's called RocksDB. And then finally I left Facebook and I joined and I created this company called Rockset.
So I believe that you and your friend Bankat had both of them from Facebook, and both of you have co-founded Rockset.
Right, absolutely. So the two founders for Rockset, myself and Venkat, both of us worked at Facebook also, so I knew him back from the days of Facebook. What else can I tell you about myself? I have a family here. I live in California, in the Silicon Valley.
And what about your immediate family?
Yeah, so I'll tell you a little bit. So my wife, she's a school teacher. Her name is Anuradha. And then I have two kids, one boy and one girl. They're in school and college right now. So they're studying here. I've been in the Bay Area, which is the Silicon Valley, for the last 20 years. So it's easy to live in one place, but work in different places over time because there are a lot of technical, high-tech companies in this area, located in this area.
So your wife is from Assam?
My wife is from Delhi. And I met her when I did my first job in Delhi. When I was after graduating from Pilani, I actually worked for 2 years at New Delhi. It was a company called CDOT. You might know about Sam Pitroda.
Yeah, I remember CDOT, great CDOT in Sam Pitroda.
Yeah, so I joined that company, and Anu was also there. So after that, later on we got married, and then we moved to the US.
For a company like you and being a co-founder of this company, how big for you this entire acquisition is, and how important it is for you?
I think most of the time I'm mostly thinking. So I was a CTO in this company at Rockset, right? And most of my initial days at Rockset was all about the technology that we were building. So I'm kind of invested. It's like when you create something, it feels like it's your baby, right? And then it's growing up, it's become a child, and now I'm hoping with this acquisition, this child will become a grown-up adult because the number of people who will use this software would be huge. At Rockset, it's maybe a few thousand people who are using Rockset, but with OpenAI using Rockset, I think it will be like millions and billions of people who can get to use the Rockset technology, not directly, but through the ChatGPT APIs. So I am really excited about it. I think it's really big in my mind.
What message would you like to give it to the young technologists and entrepreneurs for Assam who aspire to make a mark on the global stage like you?
I think what are the takeaways from my learning? So my thinking is that I think it's great to focus on smaller niche ideas that could be very impactful. Like say, traditionally, people like to work in big companies. Right? This is what I found when I grew up. My parents, everybody else around, my seniors, they all mostly work on big companies. But my focus from the beginning has been to work on small companies where I can make an impact.